Hey guys, Rich here, Rich's Custom Marine and Auto. Quick one for you today. Working on my tow rig here. Transmission fluid and filter. Pretty straightforward. This has the 545 RFE automatic transmission. On my pan, I have put a drain plug in it along with a temp sensor, so when I pull that temp sensor, it drains it. Your pan may not have that. If not, then just take the bolts out all the way around and have a large pan and be ready, because it makes a heck of a mess. Another thing I want to talk about is right up there's a seal, this little guy right here, and you've got to replace that when you do this job, because the screen, the neck of the screen right there goes up into that seal, and that'll come with the kit. So all I did is I just used a standard seal puller. You want to be really careful up there because it's all aluminum. Everything up there pretty much is aluminum. And then right here, there's a spin-on filter, which is this guy right here that goes up there. And you're going to replace that also as part of doing your fluid and filter. So I just go ahead and remove that so that I can get to that seal easier. As far as putting the seal back in, I'll just use just a brass drift here. Just tap around the lip of it real light like, and then the gasket, of course I gotta clean the gasket off the pan, and I'll scrape that and then actually run a wire brush along it, and then spray a little brake clean on a paper towel and wipe that. And then I like to put a little bit of ultra black RTV on there, because what that does is just kind of helps hold that gasket in place. And then you want to come up here with your rag that's got some brake clean on it and just wipe down the surface up there, and then put that pan back up, and we'll go through that when we get everything back up there and ready to do that. Alright, so one last quality assurance look here before we get ready to put the pan on, and I'll show you where we're at with the progress of the pan. But I replaced the seal up there we talked about. This is the new screen. On mine, it's a T25 Torx. You want to make sure you get that snugged up good. I think some of them are Phillips. But anyways, T25. And then, of course, the new thread-on filter. And you can see, or maybe you can't, but take my word for it, it's still dripping, which is pretty common when you're doing this. So I'm not going to wipe this surface yet until right before we put the pan up on there. I'm doing this like you guys would do it at home. I don't have a lift yet, so I'm on the floor. I would recommend, before you go and do this job, if you've got a large piece of cardboard, lay that down and then get yourself a big pan like I have here, and that'll kind of minimize your mess. So let's have a look at how the pan looks. Alright, so this is how our pan looks. It's all cleaned up. I know some manufacturers say not to put any type of sealant down before you put the gasket on. There's our gasket right there, just kind of laying it out because it was all rolled up in the box. I think the reason for that is they don't want you to end up with a bunch of sealant inside and getting into the transmission. So what I do is I just put a very fine bead down inside of these and just around the bolt holes. And another thing that I'll do before I even put the gasket on there is torquing these down. It kind of bows that pan a little bit. I don't know how easy you can see that, but anyways, just take a socket, set it on top of there, put this over the edge of a table or a piece of wood, and then just tap on that until you get those back down flush. It's a very common thing to do with automatic transmission pans, and also with differential covers. They tend to be this lighter metal too. And one more thing I want to throw out there is when I change the seal underneath in the transmission, if you use a 3/4 inch socket or a 19 millimeter, which is basically the same size, deep, you can kind of hold that up there. It's the perfect size, and then lightly tap on that thing until you get it seated up in there. So what'll happen is if you don't replace that seal, when you put the transmission into reverse, you'll just sit there, and all of a sudden, maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds later, you'll feel clunk where it goes into gear, because it loses its prime. Every time it's got to pull that prime back up, and when you change that seal, that prevents that from happening. So I'm going to go ahead and tap these down, and then put a little, just a fine bead of ultra black on there, set the gasket on there, and then we'll get this thing going back up there. Okay guys, now that we've got the pan back on, we've got the bolts torqued to 108 inch-pounds. I've gone ahead off camera. I've added fluid to the transmission. Let's see, most of these have instructions on them. So, let me show you here. So, idle and neutral. There's also some other great information on the dipstick that says do not add if level is between the lower holes for cold or upper holes for hot. Do not overfill. Idle and neutral. Use Mopar ATF plus 4. So now when I took the fluid out, I took out just under 6 quarts. I put 5 back in it for right now, and I'll show you where we're at here. If I can. So right about there, which is kind of to be expected, because the of course the cold marks are down here, because we've got to check it in neutral running. So I'm going to do this off camera so we don't have the engine running and stuff. But so basically what you want to do is fire up your vehicle, go through all the gears, set your parking brake, and then put it in neutral, and then you want to come out here and check it. And I've still got my funnel sitting here because I'm going to probably have to add just a little bit. But you want to make sure that it's full to the top of the cold mark. And what you really should do is go for a drive and come back, get onto a level surface and check it and make sure it's between the lines in the hot. They're usually pretty good how they calibrate the cold and the hot, but it's best to check it when it's hot. So I'm going to do that, and we'll come back. Alright guys, so ended up, after cycling through all the gears and letting the engine come down to low idle, ended up adding one more full quart, so 6 quarts total, and it brought it exactly to the top of the cold line. So which is awesome. Went and did a test drive, shifts really good. I will do like I recommended to you guys. I'll go take it on a longer drive to get everything up to temperature, make sure the fluid's good and warm, and then pull it back in here and top the fluid off at the hot level. So yeah. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this one. Please like and subscribe to help support our channel. We want to grow and be able to get some better tools and a lift and some things like that. And the way we'll be able to do that is with your guys' subscriptions and likes and comments and etc. So if you want to see us grow and be able to do greater things and share that with you, click the buttons and come on along. So thank you guys already. Those of you that are subscribed, you're totally awesome. The new subscribers are totally awesome. Appreciate all you guys, and we'll see you in the next one.